All right, hey YouTube, how you doing? It's Max. I was just doing some Slayer, and I got a JAD task, and I was like, I might as well just make a video on doing this JAD task, just to see how it goes. So, um, yeah, this isn't a guide on how to do JAD or anything. This is just, sometimes when you do Slayer, it's like, hey, do a JAD task. So, um, yeah, so I'm gonna deposit everything. I have a little bank tab here that is I guess what I use for JAD. So I'm gonna get my range stuff, get a blowpipe. I should actually probably check these. Let me just check, see how much my blowpipes seem. If yeah, I got 91%, so we're good. So that's my range stuff. We'll get these boots. Debating if I want to do. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna use my. I'm gonna try these Pegasian boots. I just got a Pegasian crystal from Cerberus, so I haven't tried these ones out with Jad, so we'll do that. So I'm gonna put all this stuff on. That's my range stuff, and then I've got my magic stuff here. I like to go do ancients when I'm doing Jad. So sorry, I'm just counting my potions. I like to. Ooh, I need to change my rune pouch. Configure to that one. All right. I think we're good to go. So, we just kind of go in, see what happens. Yeah, so I use ancients sometimes when I do Jad just because, like, let me make sure I got the freeze spell. Yeah, I like to freeze some of these things. It kind of helps to, I guess sometimes just freezing things in place, especially when you're being attacked by multiple things, it kind of just helps out. But yeah, these are like the guys that drain your prayer, so I like to get rid of those guys first most of the time, just because they drain a lot of your prayer. I think I have like kind of overboard on supplies, so it shouldn't matter too much. I like to keep auto retaliate off, I think, just because I think sometimes when you're doing certain um like in later stages of the waves especially, your character might like move when you don't want them to. But yeah, the freezes are good, and then also you can cast the blood barrage to heal yourself if you need to later on into the fight. So I guess this is just kind of seeing how fast we can do it. It's and how much oops, how much experience we get. Um, but yeah, get rid of these guys first, and then these blob guys, they kind of just split into two smaller ones. I really like the design of the fight caves. I do a little bit of game development myself, and one of the first kind of games that I've made was doing like the trying to make like a Jad fight caves kind of thing because it kind of like scales in a way where the you start with like the guy that drains your prayer, and then there becomes two guys that drain your prayer, and then there's the guy who the blob guy who splits into two, and it kind of like just kind of compounds slowly. And then you get these like level 90 guys, and you got to protect from range against them. So now it's like a 90 guy where you protect from range, along with I'll just try blow piping him, along with the this guy who drains your prayer. Um, it's not really a whole lot to really talk about. It's just kind of like the same stuff. So like wave two was two of these guys, so now it's two of these guys along with the range guy, and go there. Sometimes you can use the blowpipe spec to heal if you want to conserve on Ceridome and Bruise, but usually I don't use Ceridome and Bruise. I just have them just in case. Like sometimes I guess when you get the Ranger and the Major, you might need to brew up if you don't have like special, but usually I have the light bearer, which regains your special attack. There was some times I was trying out the fight caves with like the Ceridome and Godsword, and that was I don't know if I like that one as much. I feel like meleeing in the fight caves is kind of it's not as nice because the range, you at least have the range. You go through, like, I got these two staminas because you go through run energy a lot, especially if you're just kind of like zooming through it. But but I was talking about making games. I think like when I was making videos like 2 years ago, I had some about making a video game, and I'm thinking about after maxing making another video game. I wanted to incorporate some friends in it too if they wanted to, like some friends who might be interested in like programming or like doing art or doing I guess sound. We'll see how it goes, but I've started some concept design on it. I feel like my mind is just going like in tons of different areas right now. I'm trying to like simultaneously tell a story, focus on the game, and like be entertaining all at once, and it's very interesting. But but yeah, this game that I'm going to be working on coming up is kind of a combination of games that I've worked on in the past, and these aren't like good games. I think most of the times I just do like a I work on them, but I never finish them, sort of thing. And so I was just double checking, make sure what wave I'm on. I'm on the one with the two rangers, so I think the melee is up next. Um, but yeah, I try to like sometimes I'll go on this kick where I want to make like a game or something. And one of the first games I made was a wave-based game. I actually used, I think, Game Maker Studio or something. Like, was the first one I tried to do. It Game Maker Studio is like a program where you like make games. I think you need some coding experience for that one. And then the one I currently do right now is RPG Maker, just because it doesn't require as much coding knowledge. I'm not like very proficient in coding or anything. It's just kind of like a fun little hobby. But yeah, some games that I've made, I've uploaded to itch.io, and it's just kind of like a fun thing to do. Um, but yeah, this the first game I made, I don't even. I think I keep getting off track. But the first game I made was a wave-based game, and that was uh, it was a graveyard kind of game where you're in a graveyard and these different tiers of zombies and undead kind of move around the screen and try to hit you. And it's like one of those things where it's if you get hit once, then you're dead kind of thing. And I think there might have been power ups. I don't even think I have a save like file of that game because that was before I knew about itch.io. But the one I started doing with RPG Maker that I uploaded to itch.io was like I think there were like 8 different kind of Jad fights. They were all basically the same thing, but with just like different creatures. Kind of like Pokemon in a way, where there's like different elemental types. So, but it was almost like a roguelike in a way. So you would go do the fight cave, and you would get money and upgrades and loot from all the monsters. But once you die, inevitably, you would lose. You'd have to start over, I guess, but you would have the money to get new upgrades, new characters, stuff like that. And because it's like a JRPG, RPG Maker is like a JRPG type of game, you had 4 characters. So in RuneScape, it's just like one character, but in like RPG Maker, you have like 4 characters, kind of like Final Fantasy or something like that. And so how I kind of designed it was that it would be like a roguelike where you'd start with like maybe 4 characters, but then you could get new characters as you kind of passed through dungeons or whatever. And it was kind of cool in concept. I don't know I don't think I ever finished the game. I think it was probably broken in some areas. So I think the latest version I ever got to is probably on itch, but I can't promise it's playable. But that was like the vision of it. And this was like a long time ago. I think it was like during the pandemic when I was getting into RPG Maker. Um, and that was like um, yeah, like it's just like a hobby. But then the second game I kind of was working on was called the Manaheim Academy, and that one is kind of like similar. It's still RPG. The rest of these games are RPG Maker, and so the Manaheim Academy one was sort of like more of had like a world, and you got a prey range, and you have to oop, I like the idea of you recruit like students and whatnot. So it's kind of like an overworld game, kind of like Pokemon, like the original like Game Boy Pokemon games. But the object is to, I think I need to stay this for a while. Sorry, I'm just in a weird spot right now. So yeah, the Manaheim Academy was like you recruit students, and very much like Pokemon, where I think I had 8 classes. So it was like the elemental types, kind of like from the wave based game. And instead of like going beating like gym leaders or whatever, it was you had to beat the class professors or something. So each class professor was like an elemental type. So you had like fire, you had ice, water, electric, um, dark light, and air slash wind and earth or something. And you would just collect the badges. And um, sorry, I'm kind of mm, trying to focus on this fight as well as tell the story. Um, so yeah, you would try to beat all the professors, and then each professor would give you a badge. And after collecting all 8 of the badges or whatever, you would go fight the Elite Four essentially. And the Elite Four was like it was kind of like Harry Potter in a way, where there's like 4 different houses. Um, and the houses were like the Azure Bears, which was like a house that was kind of like this is also like the houses are kind of inspired by like the Myers Briggs in a way. And so I don't know if you know the Myers Briggs, but I'm just going off on tangents right now. But so the Myers Briggs is like it's I just feel bad that like I have to explain this stuff because if someone doesn't know what the Myers-Briggs is, then this is like a whole nother layer to it. But the Myers-Briggs is basically a personality test, and there's 16 personality types, and the on like the 16 personalities website, there's like 4 different categories of personality types. So you've got like your INTJs, your ENTJs, your ENTPs, and your uh, EINTPs. I think that's the last one. I feel like I'm getting way off topic, but just bear with me, I guess. And so like that's like kind of they're called the what are they called? I don't even remember what they're called. But this is really interesting trying to do this while talking about all this stuff. Um, I gotta freeze this guy. So yeah, so I guess that's like 4 of the 16, and I guess I would classify these people as like maybe the ambitious types. They're like intuitive thinkers or something, and so that would be like one of the houses, and then another house would be you know 4 other letters. The I'll just name them because we got time. We got the ESTJs, the ESFJs, the ISTGJs, and the ISFJs. And I feel like I should explain that. So like these letters all mean something. So you've got E and I, which stand for like introvert or extrovert, And then you've got like I guess introvert extrovert means like, do you get energy from hanging out with people or do you get energy from being alone? Then you've got your S versus N, and that means sensing versus intuitive. And how I would describe this, I mean, I'm probably not gonna be the best person to explain this right now. Taking damage. But the the E or the the S versus the what is it? The S versus the N. I'm just gonna brew right now because I'm getting cooked right now. S is sensing and N is intuitive. And sensing I would describe as oh gosh, we got a couple of these guys. Sensing is like, do you experience like things with your senses? So like, are you kind of like in the present, in the moment? I guess I would say, like, do you like learn by doing things? Again, I don't know if this is the best way to explain it, but it's kind of like people who are like in the moment working with their hands, I guess. And intuitive people are more theoretical and abstract and kind of future thinking, I would say. So S is more in the present, N is more in the future. And then you've got your T versus your F, and your T is like your thinking types, your kind of logical types. Your F is like your more feeling, emotion centric types. And then J versus P. P is more, I guess, like adaptable, flexible in the moment. Whereas, I guess we're on this guy now. J is more like structured, I guess you would say. Um, Again, these are kind of just like archetypes that the Myers Briggs. It's not like, in my opinion, it's not like a science. It's kind of just like uh, a blueprint that you could use. I don't know if blueprint's the right word, but it's like a a way to look at the world and other people or whatever. So the reason I was bringing up all this stuff about the Myers-Briggs and hair, it's because the four house systems that I used in the game that I was making, that has like the four houses like Harry Potter, was kind of inspired by that 16 personalities Myers-Briggs type, and that was related to this game that I was making, which I guess is somehow related to Jad because this is the next game that I was making after I was making the wave-based Jad game. So I think we're kind of at a point where there's purpose to going down all these different rabbit holes. But yeah, so the game concept was like this school where you take a personality quiz like Harry Potter's like sorting house. And I thought that would be fun just to, take a personality test and then get sorted into one of these four houses. And then you would go through the game trying to collect the gym badges or whatever, like Pokemon, and beat the Elite Four or whatever. But the one of the points of the game was to recruit students from your house to be on your team, and this is kind of like Fire Emblem Three Houses if you've ever played that, where like you can recruit different people at your school for your little adventuring party around campus. And I thought that would be kind of a cool thing because I always liked like school concepts for games like that. I think there's just something kind of like nostalgic about like Harry Potter in a way that I really liked about just that setting. Um, and then the Elite Four, I kind of envisioned. So after you get the badge from each of the professors, there's like an Elite Four, like Pokemon. I feel like I don't need to go into how Pokemon works or whatever. You can kind of get the gist of how the Elite Four is set up. But the how I wanted the Elite Four to be was very similar to God War's dungeon in RuneScape. So instead of there being four bosses and necks, um, it would be the four house deans and then the headmaster at the end. And that was kind of the concept for the game. And I don't remember how far I got into that kind of concept. That sh- that was the second game. And then the third game, which is the one that I was kind of in development with, I had like some videos from like 2 years ago about making this kind of more open world game that was, I still wanted to have like the Mannheim Academy as part of it, but I wanted to have all these other like nations. So like one of the nations that I have is like Castleguard, and that's like kind of inspired by medieval fantasy, like your typical sword and sorcery or whatever it is, where there's knights and there's like a um king or something. So I really like that. I think I had about like 8 or 9 different locations. There was Castleguard, which was this sword and sorcery kind of European medieval. Then I had Doriconia, which was this sort of Greco-Roman inspired area, and I really liked that one, focused more on like culture and like food, like having like a vineyard kind of thing somewhere in the game. And what else? They have like a coliseum, stuff like that. There was a place that was kind of more of a gotta get this guy now. So this is where the rangers will kind of start to do a lot of damage, and I might have to switch to blood magic. Um, there's like kind of like a Scandinavian slash Canada inspired. So like they might be a bit more like Viking culture, but also I wanted it to be like very almost like North American lumber kind of industry or something. Um, and then there was uh, kind of like a more like gothic dark fantasy area that kind of had like vampires, and that's kind of like inspired by like I want to say like a mix between like Mauritania and RuneScape mixed with like if you know like Sly Cooper. I really like the Sly Cooper 2 where like the Contessa level and stuff like that, where it's just kind of like this gothic kind of dark fantasy. There's also a. I feel like this is super uninteresting, but you know, it's just me talking about stuff while doing fight caves. Oh yeah, I gotta kill this guy first, and I should probably kill those guys. What other places? There was like this kind of like almost tropical, I want to say, location where it was almost like inspired by like I want to say like actual Jad and stuff. I'm actually gonna do some blood magic, I think, because I am taking a lot of damage. Um, anyway, yeah, kind of like a more like tropical location where there's I guess like tropical fruits, volcanoes, similar to like Karamja in RuneScape. And I think that's where I would kind of have like the whole like Dragon Slayer vibe and the whole fire capes kind of thing going on. And yeah, there was also what other places were there? So I had Castleguard, which was like the medieval place, and then you've got you got Doriconia, which is the Greco-Roman. You got Gunner's Grim, which is the Scandinavian. There's like some of these sound like really like kind of weird when I say it. Like I had a place called Amildastad, which is basically an anagram of the Middle East, but it wouldn't just be like the Middle East. It's a fantasy world. You can kind of just it's for fun. But I wanted to incorporate like kind of like a pyramid plunder kind of mini game there, but also this like casino kind of Las Vegas thing. Any like Wild West kind of things kind of in this like desert location. So it wouldn't just be like I guess like a single thing. I wanted to incorporate like a couple different um couple different things with it. So like there was that one. It's I would have Manaheim again, which is the magic school. So that would be one. And there were probably other ones, but yeah, just kind of like, and it was this was the third game, just this kind of open world exploration game, so kind of extending the whole um collecting badges to kind of more similar to traditional Pokemon again, where you can kind of go around the map and collect something, and then kind of there has to be like some sort of like kind of measure of progress and game progression. So the 8 badges system kind of like it's not like, I think like a lot of adventuring games have like some sort of collect these main things, and I think like 8 levels was always like something that kind of seemed reasonable in scope. So I feel like I'm just kind of like talking out of nowhere right now. This is really like a lot trying to do this with the alright, that guy's hidden behind there. Oh man. But yeah, that was like the next game I wanted to work on. And I stopped doing it because I was making these videos I think every day for like 150-ish days, and I kind of wanted to do something else, so I stopped focusing on that game. I felt like I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, so um, I stopped making games, and that was the last one I made. But I'm getting the itch again to make another game, and I think that I might start making this fourth game um, after I max at some point. Um, Whoa. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to find my blood spells. Um, yeah, so I want to make this fourth game, and I want it to be very similar to what I did with the third game, where I have um all these different like cities and locations, but I think I just want to start from scratch, because if you like haven't like if you make a game and you kind of get like halfway through and then you like stop working on it for a while and then you try to revisit it, it's really difficult to do. So I think I want to just like start from scratch, and this is what I was kind of saying about like if there's any like people I know in real life who want to like contribute to it, this would be like a good opportunity to like kind of do some stuff with some other people and just kind of collaborate on something. um but yeah, so I think after I max this account, which will probably be close to August, I want to say, um, then I might start going more, invest more into that. And I might still play RuneScape on the side, but like I think my main goal in RuneScape was always just to max the account, and then like anything that like I'll probably have some more goals later on down the line and stuff like that. But that's like that's what's on my mind, I guess, right now. I just realized I'm wearing the same shirt as I was wearing in the video about the Abyssal Sire, and that's because I literally just made that video like right before this one. I was doing Abyssal Demons, and then I got, ooh, let's see. I was doing Abyssal Demons, and I got this Jad task, and I was like, yeah, let's do the Jad task and see how it goes. I've never done Jad while I'm, oh, I'm not hitting this guy at all. Well, that's not good. I just want to catch a freeze on him. I've never done Jad while like talking and like trying to explain my like life plans. It's very I mean, Jad isn't like the easiest thing, but it's sometimes you get in these moments where it just takes some brain power, and I don't know, it's a good little it's a good little thing to do to challenge yourself, I guess. Maybe, one day I'll be making like, I mean, I still haven't gotten an Inferno cape or anything, but that would be really interesting to try to get an Inferno cape while like talking about life. Like I don't know how like streamers do it. Like talking while playing video games seems very difficult. I don't know if I could ever like do streaming. But also I feel like making a YouTube video often requires editing. Like what am I trying to say? Like I feel like a lot of YouTube videos kind of have like a lot of like nice edits going on, and I feel like I should heal or something. Like there's just very like talented content creators out there, and I think that it takes a lot of time to just film yourself, but it also takes a lot of time to sit down and like edit and like I feel like if I I remember I made like a YouTube channel like back in the day, and with like the whole editing stuff, I feel like I get like really like particular about how a video kind of looks, and I don't want to like I don't want to release content that like isn't like good, because I feel like there's like this kind of like, oh gosh, I'm out of run. I feel like there's kind of this feeling that like, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. I don't know. What am I saying? I feel like there's like this kind of precedent, like when you're like uploading a video, like something that you create, and like if it doesn't get views, then it's like it kind of like feels demoralizing in a way. So I think that's why I'm kind of like, if I don't really like go too hard on YouTube and just kind of like treat it as a hobby, then I'm not like focused on like the numbers, if that makes sense. So I think just kind of, you know, doing it when I feel like it, and not like treating it as if it's like some sort of like measurement of like one's ability. Um, that's kind of like how I want to treat it for right now, I guess. So I guess my point with that is like I don't want to get too invested into editing, especially if I'm like not like too focused on like making like a popular YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say. What wave are we on? We're on 49, so we got, I think there's 63 waves. So we're almost there, like 14 waves to go. Um, I feel like the Jad fight isn't the part I'm like too worried about. I think like getting the crossbow, um, it will just be like kind of chill. The one I'm kind of like most nervous about is when you get the rangers and the meleeer, and it's forgot the legs, and it's just kind of chaos mode. And but so far we're doing okay. We're hanging in there. Um, but yeah, I want to work on a new game. I think after maxing, maxing has been quite the journey. It's like I probably said this in like one of the other, like I think the first video where it was like I haven't made a video in 600 days or whatever, but I started. This is kind of like maxing an account has been something that I've always kind of wanted to do. Um, and I think like there's just been like this idea that like maxing is kind of like not something that I would ever like do. Um, I am not articulate right now, but I was like, I think it was like my, what was it, 20, how old am I? 29th birthday. And I was like, I kind of want to, yeah, because I'm turning 30 this year. And it was around my 29th birthday. And I was like, I'm almost 30 and I kind of want to, what are some things that I like want to do in life? And for some reason, maxing a RuneScape account like came up, and I was like, it takes so much time to max an account, but I was looking at my account at the time and it was like 1950 total level, and I was like, what if I just dedicated the year 2024 to maxing an account? And that was just kind of like something that like, how you have like a New Year's resolution. It's like I just want to like max an account see what happens. And yeah, so I in 2023 I was getting really into like Notion and like, tracking goals and stuff like that. I had my like system kind of pretty fleshed out. And so I, try to figure out like how do I want to track this? Do I want to track it daily? And so I kind of have like a daily tracker of like how much experience I do and like what levels I work on. And it's just something quick that you can do like before bed or something. And yeah, so I was like, I'm just gonna devote 2024 to that. And I was like, what is the, I guess if I, it was a cool opportunity because it's like I'm at this point in my life, not in my life, but in this account where I only have, or I don't think I didn't have any 99s at the time. So yeah, like in November, this is where it gets interesting. I didn't have any 99s in November, and I was like, what makes sense to do first? And so I thought um, construction would be the most optimal thing because I was looking up like what the skill cape perks were, and I thought that the construction cape was the made the most sense because you use your house for so much stuff in this game. I was like, I, if I get the construction skill cape, that will pay dividends and help me out with any other skill because of all the different portals and all the the jewelry box and the rejuvenation thing for combat. And so I got the ooh, sorry, it's getting crazy. I got construction first, and the method I did to 99 construction was mahogany homes, but construction, the element the elephant in the room with construction is like it's like super expensive. And like I had like a good amount of money, like I probably had like at least 100 mil, maybe even 200 mil. So like I could have spent like my entire bank on 99 construction. But I was like, what's a good way to like save money as much as possible along the, so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do mahogany homes, I'm gonna get the outfit, but I need to get like the supplies for mahogany homes. And so what I did was I cut like 25,000 um, mahogany logs. I had the quest cape at the time, and I went to Prif Dinis, and I basically did this method where you teleport to Prif Dinis, and sorry. Ooh, I just wanna. Oh no. Yeah, you go to Prifdinus and the way you get to Prifdinus is you use the tree teleport. So from the Grand Exchange to Prifdinus, there's like a tree teleport, and you can go there and you can cut an inventory of and I think forestry had come out, so you could get like the forestry backpack to get extra logs. You go to Prifdinus, you would cut the mahogany trees in like the northeastern part of the place, and then I had like a Varrock Grand Exchange teleport. So like I would cut the inventory with the backpack, and I would teleport back to the Grand Exchange bank, and then use the tree in the northeast of the Grand Exchange to get back to Prifdinus. And I did that and got about 20,000. Okay, we are getting yeah, so I did 25,000, and a lot of this was something that you could just do on mobile. So I would spend a lot of time on mobile, just kind of cutting trees, going back to the place, and yeah, oop, too close. Sorry, I would spend a lot of time on mobile, getting just going to Priv, getting mahogany logs, going back, and then like when I wasn't doing that, the only other thing I would do in the game would be farming runs. So I would do herb runs and birdhouse runs, and I started incorporating tree runs when I started to get a bit serious about farming. But like, my stats were like 1950 something, so I had at least base 70s at this time. So I'll just keep that on because I'm talking. So I had like base 70s at the time, and yeah, so I wanted to get construction first. I did get construction, and then what did I do after construction? After construction, I was like, oh, wrong guy. After construction, I was like, let's get fire making, I think, because I heard, or I never, when I did fire making originally on my other RuneScape account, it was like before EOC, and back in those days where you would like light willow logs in Falador and like the Eastern Bank, and then did that in like Varrock as well, like those two fire making. Depending on, I remember back in those days, like people would like if you like didn't if you weren't there first, then I would just go to Varrock instead because world hopping in those days was like not as like seamless as it is these days. So I would kind of do that method, just kind of like teleport around instead of world hop. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. On this account, I did fire making second, and then uh, try to finish this guy off real quick. Did fire making second, and then I did farming. I think I finished off farming. I got more into like doing tree runs, and tree runs was very expensive. And I did. I remember farming and wood cutting. Um, After fire making and construction. So the order I believe was construction, and then I did fire making, and then I think it was farming, and then wood cutting. So I had those four, and I got, I think, construction in December, and then the other three, fire making, wood cutting, and farming in January. And then my thought process was I need to do something like if I'm going to be like maxing, I gotta like do something um that's like pretty legit. So it was between like I was thinking what's a good one to do after what's a good one to do after, and I was thinking rune crafting, because rune crafting you make a ton of money doing. And I think I made like 200 mil doing rune crafting, but I felt like it was like if I can do rune crafting, then I can you know do any other skill in this game. So I spent like all of like the second the end of January through all of February just doing rune crafting. And I did Guardians of the Rift at first to 77, but then I didn't finish the rune crafting outfit. So I got that, and I think I was like almost 80 at the time, and then I was like, I'll try Bloods. So I did Bloods for a bit, and I think I did Bloods all the way till Souls. And then I realized that Souls were like it felt worse to do Souls than Bloods, because one of the cool things about Bloods was that they were sort of AFK, not like super AFK, but like when you have to do the running, it's not AFK, but like when you're mining, it's AFK. But like when I was doing like like I wanted to play actively, I couldn't really do that, and I all right, this is getting a bit interesting because I've got two rangers. Okay, let's just do range. All right. So yeah, I was doing like a sorry, that one was kind of chaotic. I was doing what am I talking about? I was doing soul runes, but soul runes was very and like doing soul runes all the time. Like I would maybe do soul runes while I was trying to AFK, But when I wasn't trying to AFK, I was like, what's something that's rune crafting that's a bit more active? So and more experience per hour, because like Bloods and Souls are not very good experience per hour. I think it's like 30k or something. So that's when I started doing Urania Altar, probably in the 90s, and that was pretty. I mean, it was still like really slow. It was like 50k an hour, I think, but it was it was that was my path. So I did that throughout all of February this year. And then I don't even know if I can tell you because I'm almost at Jad. I think I've got this wave, and then I've got double 360s, and then I've got Jad. Um, so I did, but I guess the moral of this kind of story is that I did rune crafting fifth. And I had it all planned out in my little Notion board of like what skills I was gonna do next. And I tried to I think I did cooking after because I wanted after I did something slow like rune crafting, I did cooking to give myself a bit more of like a break. And then I tried to just knock out like 2 or 3 99s a month. And I would kind of do like, I wanted to get fishing out of the way before I did like agility because I would get some through barbarian fishing. And then yeah, there was like a lot of stuff. Like I didn't want to do agility right away because I was like I could just get some passive experience doing this other stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of that. I guess I'm just going to start focusing on this Jad part now because this is the part that I guess I kind of need to, pay a little bit of attention so I don't mess up the entire um Slayer task. But I'm just gonna double check, make sure I'm on long range. Cool, I'm on long range. So yeah, I like to kind of venom Jad with the blowpipe first. I also want to kind of get my stuff up because all right, so I just drank a brew so that I could have higher defense and stuff and hit points. So now I'm over 99, and I think Jad should spawn right here. All right, so yeah, I think we're all good. Oh, all right. Usually it starts with the magic, so I was surprised that I could have just died there. But I guess his like max hit is like a 90 something, and I was over in 100, so I think we were all set there. Um, But yeah, so when he goes up on his hind legs, that's magic, and then when he slams the ground like that, that's range, and I just have rigor on, and I'm going to switch to the crossbow and start doing this, and he's still doing that, and he's still doing that, and going back to that, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that, and I think, whoop, almost missed it. I think we're good though. Yep. So you get about 25,000 experience for beating Jad. And yeah, that's a fire cape. Was thinking about if I should trade the capes in to get a chance at the pet, but I kind of want to keep them in my bank for now. And maybe I'll do that like after I get um 99 Slayer. I think how many do I have? I have 6 now. So I'll see how many I get over the course of the 99 Slayer grind, but yeah, we're about 75k off from 99 hit points and Ancient along with Slayer. But yeah, that's a fire cape. I guess it was under an hour. Not 100% sure, but that's the video. See you later. Hope it wasn't too bad. Bye.